This is a page from Storm issue 11, dropping next week. But we need to talk about it and what's coming after it right now, because Storm is about to crash all the way out, so bad that it will bring about the end of the world. First, some basic info. Spoilers ahead for issue 10 of Storm if you haven't read it yet. At the end of issue 10, two very big events occur. The rogue FBI agents Foggy and Etienne attack Storm's entourage with voodoo magic. This claims the lives of Maggot and Manifold in a bloody instant. Storm, Bishop, and the mutant child Jaden are left physically untouched. But before they can do anything, an even bigger threat drops from the sky and ends the agents' attack: the Silver Surfer and Galactus. But they were dropped to Earth by an even bigger threat: Infinity. The unknowable expansion of all reality herself enters the fight in search of her brother Eternity. But unbeknownst to Storm and Infinity, Eternity has left the chat to summon the help of the One Above All to spank Hadad's unholy ass in the Thunder War. But even with the entire universe literally staring down on her, all Storm can think of right now is the fact that two of her teammates and friends have been murdered right in front of her. Then you've got Bishop, one of her oldest comrades, and Jaden, who she's been personally responsible for since she first saved her in issue 1. Their lives are in just as much danger as hers. And all of this is after 7 straight months of pain, destruction, and death. The abduction of her own body by Eternity, which triggers memories of assault that she suffered as a child. Eternity's been hijacking her body anytime he pleases, and it's gotten so bad that lately she can't even keep track of time. All while he's stashing cosmic beings in her basement for further use. Don't forget about the FBI arresting Storm just so they can break into her house and steal her shit. And that was before they killed her people. All of which comes on the heels of her harboring a resident war criminal, aka Charles Xavier, while he was suffering from super brain cancer unbeknownst to Storm. And to keep him from being taken back to Greymalkin prison, she had to fight her fellow X-Men. Although these days, X-Men fighting X-Men is just Tuesday. And last but not least, there's still the Storm Gods who jumped her. Shango and Chalk are chilling in her pocket dimension. But Mama Ragan and Susanoo are still at large, and they'll be involved in a Council of Thunder Gods meeting in issue 11 along with Zeus. But all of this paints a picture of a Storm who is just at her wit's end. It's thundering outside.
Ironic.
And what more would you expect from an Omega-level mutant goddess whose own emotions are her cross to bear? And don't forget about her future daughter, who was introduced in the recent Hellfire Vigil issue 1, named Furaha, Swahili for joy. Good news, yes, but still something that's weighing heavily on her, meaning more pressure, and your girl is tired. The text on the preview pages goes into it masterfully. As a child, Ororo Monroe was expressive, mischievous even. She wore her heart on her sleeve, but as an adult, she's often stoic, seen as the epitome of self-control. The trauma of losing her parents did not staunch her fountain of feelings. No, none of her sufferings and labors did. Everything changed when her mutant abilities manifested. On that day, our planet felt so small, so delicate, so fragile. Her whims could send the world over the edge of oblivion, to total annihilation. So she treads carefully, like a titan on a bridge of sawdust. Similar lines have been uttered by Storm herself, even in the cartoons.
Gal's gotta let loose now and again. You ought to give it a try.
I admire your spirit, Rogue. But unlike you, I must keep my emotions in check, lest my powers rage out of control.
These lines also remind me of the famous Superman speech about living in a world made of cardboard from Justice League Unlimited.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die.
But I digress. Getting back to the text. She averts her access to some of her more terrifying powers. But as Infinity stands before her, Storm unleashes all she has ever held back. The floodgates of self-control have been demolished, and fury crashes out. Tectonic plates grind against each other, tremoring the earth. With a deafening roar, Storm spews blue blazes, her wrath knowing no bounds. I think the last time we've gotten a moment anywhere close to this was during her last ongoing solo series from 2014, written by Greg Pak. That gave us this iconic moment, where in a need to grieve the recently fallen Wolverine, Storm flies up into the stratosphere of Earth and becomes inconsolable, triggering a worldwide Aurora Borealis. In real life, the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights are triggered at the North and South Pole as the sun's solar winds send excess energy into space. They reach Earth's magnetic field and are pushed down to the opposite poles, where they interact with gases in Earth's atmosphere, releasing light energy. It's a beautiful natural display, but here it signifies raw power and emotion that Storm never gets to let out. And there's also the classic X-Men story, where Storm was turned into a living chrome statue by Dr. Doom. This triggered her claustrophobia so bad it started a massive hurricane that would have covered the entire Earth if Storm hadn't gotten control of herself. So the last thing you want is for Storm to be out of control. And that's exactly what we have here. I mean, she has to be losing it. She's squaring up against one of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel universe. And we're not even close to finishing. Murewa has said in interviews that Storm is going to be crashing out 3 times during the Thunder War arc. By the end of issue 12, we know that Storm will be a changed woman, altered physically and emotionally. She'll have more clarity and more power, but apparently that'll come at a great cost. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we do know where this is leading: Rogue Storm. Rogue Storm will be part of the Age of Revelation event coming in October. The Rogue Storm synopsis opens as follows: with Earth's gods gone, only Ororo Monroe, the mutant god of storms, remains. She is a goddess driven mad by dark magic and grief. This sentence gives us even more insight into the dire straits we're headed into. We already know about Shango and Chak, but the Thunder War could displace, incapacitate, or kill the other Earth gods. And it does specify all Earth gods, not just the Storm gods. But is Storm the one that takes them out? Would she send them to her pocket dimension to keep them out of her way? Or would she just straight up kill them? Could she kill them? Considering how many gods, spirits, and cosmic entities that Storm's bested before, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Hell, 2 of her greatest foes are among Marvel's most dangerous entities: the demonic, chaotic trickster known as the Adversary, and the astral manifestation of darkness himself, the Shadow King. Storm's beaten both of them multiple times. But still, this would be a tall order. There are several pantheons of gods who originate from Earth, not to mention the Elder Gods themselves, one of whom, Oster, is the patron deity of Storm's maternal family line. Maybe we'll see Oster make an appearance. And godhood's only one side of the coin. There's also magic, dark magic. We've seen that numerous times in this series already. The voodoo Etienne uses to kill Maggot and Manifold, as well as the Elay spell that Dr. Voodoo and Storm have used. She could resort to that, or we could be getting something entirely new. The magic in Storm's bloodline enables her to be very adept at naturally learning and casting spells. She cast the Elay spell after having it used on her only once. Then the sorceress Ashake, Storm's ancestral auntie, was specifically chosen by and taught magic by Oster herself. And there's Aisha, the Rain Queen of Balabedo, who was the first human sorcerer supreme. She served Oster for about 5,000 years before giving up the title, and even developed her own magic system, which gave her the ability to suppress the magical works of other sorcerers. She named it Abjuration. Maybe this is the dark magic Aurora will tap into, and use it to suppress the powers of Earth's gods so she can banish them. And what's it gonna take to make her go off the deep end anyway? I think we're definitely gonna see at least one more death. And wouldn't it just crush Storm if Jaden got caught up in all this crossfire? If she were directly responsible for her death, or even accidentally killed her herself? Maggot and Manifold was bad enough, but they were brothers in arms. They knew what they signed up for. Jaden's just a kid, one who Storm already saved and speaks life into constantly. Seeing Jaden get struck down would definitely trigger a major crash out of Armageddon apocalyptic proportions, and could make Storm grow colder than ever before, racked with despair and self-hatred. Or alternatively, she may have to tap into these powers to defeat Infinity. I don't think she'll be able to kill her. This is the sentient manifestation of matter in the universe we're talking about. But she could wound her, or at least make her feel enough pain to back off. Hell, we've already seen her wound a Dominion, but she's gonna have to pull out something, cause we know Infinity doesn't play fair. She admitted to torturing Galactus and the Silver Surfer for information. So if she'll do that to those two, what won't she do to Storm and company? And what lengths will Storm go to keep her friends safe while she's already in such a chaotic state of mind? Whatever it is, we're gonna find out next week. But until then, comment below and let me know, what do you think is gonna trigger Storm's ultimate crash out? And after you do that, you better click this video right here to get more Weather Witch goddessness in your life. And until next time, keep calm and keep simping.